This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of the Socks and Pinstripes podcast. Hope you guys had a happy new year. How you doing, Shane? Did you have a happy new year?
I had a great New Year. Griffin, how about you?
It was all right. It's kind of weird when you have New Year's in like the middle of the week and you got to work like, Thursday, Friday after you work. After you have the
Yeah.
day off in the middle of the week. It's
Yeah.
And one of the salespeople at our office just made a massive stink of things on New Year's Eve and didn't even bother to say thank you for it. He just
Oh,
I
wow.
created a giant set of problems. Um so yeah,
Uh,
I'm not happy with that guy at the moment. Even though
yeah.
he came back in and is like he appreciated the work, but I'm like, you just didn't say that you did this just to get your commission. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah. My my brother had the opposite thing happen where like he's in charge of a department at his job and he's like, "All right, everyone, what do you want to do? Would you rather, work Thursday, Friday, both weeks?" Um, and then have Christmas Eve and Christmas off, and then have New Year's Day off? Or would you rather just take from Christmas until, the week after New Year's? And he was hoping they'd all be like, oh, yeah, we'll just take the time off. But everyone at his job was like, no, we want to work. He's like, that's the last time
What?
I give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
He's like, next time I'm just making everyone take those 2 weeks off.
Yeah, I don't get why people want to just work through the holidays. Do they hate their families that much?
Well, the other thing is, my mom, as always, puts it in perspective, is they weren't getting paid time off. So, you know, that's another aspect is not everyone can just
Oh,
miss.
okay. Well, that's a factor
Yeah,
too. But I mean, if
yeah.
the office is closed, you should have to pay your employees if you're closing down the office too. So it's like,
I mean, in theory, Griffin, you would think you should, but that's not always what happens. So,
no, no, that's what we're learning in life.
yeah.
And as you can tell, we're kind of stalling a bit because let's be honest, this week was pretty uneventful in terms of free agents, and that's not really a big shock. It's the end of the year, everybody's like taking time off and blah de blah de blah. So we had a couple of moves that happened over the weekend, and the Baltimore Orioles decided to get on the Charlie Morton bandwagon and picked him up for 1 year, $15 million. Morton is basically a 4 or a 5 level pitcher at this point in his career. He's
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
he's an innings eater, but I don't even think anybody had him on their fantasy teams this year. He's just
No.
no, and Baltimore needs to make a better move than that because they're basically just trying to bank on winning the World Series with this win now team of fours and fives.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll get it done. I don't know. But if they have what happened last year in the playoffs where the offense just doesn't show up, they're going to have a real hard time getting it done.
Yeah,
So,
I mean Corbin Burns basically lost a 1-0 game.
yeah, which is, I mean, welcome to the Mariners, Corbin Burns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there might be a reason why he decided to go to the offense that scored the most runs this past year in the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
other the other move that happened is that the Dodgers signed a Korean player named Hae-sung Kim, not to
Mm.
be confused with Ha-sung Kim.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They're,
That one
they're
almost
different. They're
got me,
different players
honestly.
here. They're
Yeah.
different players. Yeah.
In
He
fact, when I
is.
read it the first time, I almost brought it up to you. I was like, "Oh, did you see that Sung Kim went to the Dodgers?" And then I was like, "Oh, wait,
uh,
different guy." So,
Different guy. And I had been watching Squid Game recently, so I was kind of in getting some of the Korean names, and it's interesting how similar some of the names can be, but in other cultures and things. But I suppose
Yeah,
it's the same thing as just having like two Will Smiths in baseball, you know?
yeah. Or the difference between Shane and Sean too. So
Yeah. Or like have three different spellings of the word Sean, because you
yeah,
have like
yeah,
Sean, you can have Shawn, you can have Shaun, and they're all
yeah,
Sean.
yeah. Someone asked me. I guess it's becoming more popular to spell Shane weird ways. And for the first time ever, I had someone ask me how I spelt my name, and I was like, just get it phonetically right, and we'll call it good. So,
Wait. There's other ways to spell Shane other than Shane.
yeah. So apparently, they're adding a Y in there, which technically would be shine, but
Oh,
whatever, you know.
oh,
So,
Chibo.
yeah, and there's also some people going with a CH instead of an S. So, whatever.
No.
I'm just telling you what's been
I
happening.
know, I know. I'm just rebelling against the current society from my get off my lawn nature. I'm in my
Yeah.
40s. I'm allowed to be old and crotchety at this point and not just act old and crotchety as it is in my 30s. So, yeah, with in light of the lack of material to talk about, I thought we should kind of talk about some New Year's resolutions from people and teams across the league on just things that they should do. And I have some. I don't know if you have any or not. We can kind of just go through and discuss some of the things, and maybe if we think of some things to talk about as it relates to those, we can go off on those routes. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. So, in no particular order, this is just going off of a little scribble pad I made there in the course of the week. Aaron Boone, keep your job till the end of the season and lead the league in injections. Because, Aaron Boone is on another lame duck contract. They basically just have extended him for 1 year, I think, on his club option. And if the Yankees get off to any kind of a slow start, like I could see them making a move and just dumping him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could totally see that happening
A
as
lot of
well. But
times when you'll see coaches get fired midstream, it's typically because they're on their final year of the deal.
yeah,
It happened with
yeah,
the
and then that
Phillies
was
when they fired Joe Girardi and then went on their hot streak.
must be nice to fire someone and go on a hot streak. We didn't, the Mariners did not get that this year. So
No. The Angels fired Joe Madden famously after he lost like 15 games in a row.
yeah,
And of course, the whole legend was that he shaved his head into like a mohawk. But we never got to see it because he got fired the day that he did that to try to spark the team.
classic, classic,
Yeah,
classic.
and of course, Madden hasn't managed since then.
Yeah,
So my first one, then I wrote this before they signed Charlie Morton, was the Orioles need to make some moves and get some talent.
yeah,
That was
at pitching.
Morton's salt was not the definition of what I was thinking when I wrote that. I was thinking they would make a trade with somebody for a pitcher. I
Yeah,
mean, as much as we talk about the Red Sox and the Mariners being a good trading partner, really the Orioles need to have the same problem. They can just get a Luis Castillo and just give up one or two of their top prospects because right now they don't have a spot to play guys like Heston Kjerstad and Connor Norby.
I know, and they have so much. Yeah, and they have so much talent. It's just like share a little bit, guys.
Yeah, they can't they have guys that they just aren't gonna play. I mean, they can move Cedric Mullins or something. I mean, I'm sure Mullins would be a good fit for you guys. He's a good
Yeah,
compliment player. Like they're just moves that they can make to clear up log jams, and they just haven't done it. And it's not like they're in the middle of the rebuild. Like they're in the throes of playoff contention. Like this is the
yeah.
time to push all the chips in the table and make a legitimate run at a championship. Like the rebuild's over. Now it's time to, make some stuff happen.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into my New Year's resolution for the Mariners is get out there and spend the money. or trade or whatever you need to do
So
in
they got the
order.
same resolution. Just
Yeah.
trade, do something.
Offensively, just do something. Spend the money.
Yeah.
John Sand, spend the money. This is the last year. This is honestly, Orioles might be able to have another year of trying to get there. But I think, if we miss the playoffs again this year as the Mariners, we're right back to no one's going to want to come here. And in fact, people are already refusing to come here. So,
The Chicago White Sox. Just try not to be the worst team ever. And I know that's saying something considering the fact that, they did have statistically the worst record ever. But honestly, their team is likely worse now than it was last year
so
at the
honestly, I
beginning
didn't
of the
even think
year.
about
Yeah.
that.
They
True.
had
Yeah.
like Garrett Crochet at the beginning of the year, and Garrett Crochet was a solid pitcher for them. They also had like Eric Fetty, who
Yeah.
had, I believe, 6 or 7 wins with the White Sox. And they traded him off to the Cardinals, I believe, at the deadline. Like
Yeah.
they are devoid of any kind of talent. Like we'd rail on how bad the A's were a couple years ago. Like this White Sox team is worse than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like
would,
the only
I would agree.
competent,
That's tough to say, but I agree with that.
like the
So,
only competent major leaguer that team has right now is like Luis Robert. And does
and
anyone
he doesn't
really
even want to
think?
be there.
Does anyone think he's really going to be on this team past this year? I don't see it. I'm surprised he hasn't been
Yeah.
traded yet.
Yeah,
But
I would. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't understand how this team is going to even win 30 games this next year to just how bad it is.
yeah, honestly. So, I got one. To me, the Yankees and the Red Sox looks like they're pretty evenly matched. I want to bring back the like 2018 early aughts rivalry that team has, where every single game was like maybe a fight will break out, maybe it won't, and they just want to murder each other. So
I just don't think that the fans care that way, but I don't think the team
yeah,
players don't care that way.
that's my New Year's resolution. I want the
Yeah.
players to care that way. So
I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it would be nice. It would certainly be nice if the Red Sox fans showed up enough to not have the Yankees fans take over Fenway Park.
yeah, that would be well. But Yankees fans are willing to spend more money to watch baseball. I watched this
Red Sox
guy
fans
go.
are usually willing to as well.
Yeah, but I watched this guy rant on the Yankees building a new stadium, and he's like, you had a perfectly good stadium. It was great to go to. Tickets were cheap, and then you built a new stadium, and everything got more expensive, all because you wanted to eat sushi at a baseball game when you should be having a hot dog.
Don't tell that to the Dodgers. There's a lot of Japanese restaurants now at the Dodger Stadium here.
Yeah, but they're completely different. LA's always just been doing its own thing, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a kind of a short and sweet one. Diamondbacks just make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah,
I
please.
mean, you
For all
barely
of
missed the
us.
playoffs by one game last year.
Yeah,
Basically, the Mets and the Braves colluded to keep you out. So
seriously.
you got signed Corbin Burns. You have most of your guys back. Merrill Kelly should be healthy. Um,
Yeah,
Eduardo Rodriguez should be healthy. Jordan Montgomery, whether or not the owner wants to keep him still,
yeah. I
is at
hope
least.
I'm thinking he's going to have a bounce back year, so I think they'll be pretty set there. But
I hope so, but they might not even have him in their top five right now.
yeah,
So
that's true.
just made the playoffs. That would be short and sweet for that team.
Yeah,
Clayton
I think.
Kershaw, just retire.
Yeah, yeah. Please do us all a favor, man.
Okay, so Clayton Kershaw has won 2 World Series with the Dodgers, technically.
uh
The
Yeah,
first one was in the 2020 season when, nobody pitched a whole lot of innings.
yeah,
The second one was when you were basically a cheerleader and injured for most, if not the entire season. And when you pitched, you only went like 4, maybe 5 innings tops. I had you on my fantasy team last year thinking you would be at least decent in the regular
oh
season.
man, yeah. I even forgot that he even pitched at all last year.
Yeah. And
So
so it basically he was just a glorified cheerleader and took off his shirt and was celebrating with the team like he actually contributed to it. When he needs to realize that the Dodgers are flat out more likely to win the World Series without you. So just go away.
Or
Just
become a
go
pitching
away.
coach, or something, not a player anymore. Stay in the organization if you want, but yeah, just you don't need to be a player anymore. So
Just be a special consultant, quote unquote, and just be a cheerleader and at least try to keep your shirt on next time when you're celebrating. Nobody wants to see your beer gut when you haven't participated and been on the field at all.
you know what, Kershaw, I'm with you, man. Be yourself. If that means taking your shirt off, get it, girl. So
I gotta bleep you out there, Shane.
oh yeah, right.
First
My
bleep of the new year.
bad. Can you just have like a baseball bat hitting a baseball? So
I'm gonna have to come up with a special bleep for you. Um, Giancarlo Stanton. Just carry over the postseason Stanton into the regular season because
oh man,
you
if
are
they
an awesome Stanton in the playoffs. I know he can still do it. It's just try to carry that over, that attitude over into the regular season because he could still potentially hit 40 home runs. The power is there. He just has to find a
oh
way
yeah.
to bring that out in the regular season.
I think if he does that too, the Yankees kind of just run away with their division, but we'll see what happens.
And
So,
Aaron Judge, you need to not be Mr. May.
yeah.
Bring it in October with Stanton.
Yep. Yep.
Those two, when they're making their little quilts in the wintertime there together, sitting on the bench outside, freezing a little bit. They need to be talking with each other about how they can bring each other's best stuff out during the regular season and the postseason.
Yeah. Uh, yep. Absolutely. And Cubbies make it to the World Series this year and win because I have a futures bet on you, and it'd be real nice. So.
Oh, well, that's a lot of pressure for the Cubbies there.
I think they
Blake's
can do it though. The odds actually, I expected them to be way low. I mean, I didn't bet a lot of money. It's like $20, but I expected them to be a lot farther down, but they were in the top 10.
Well, I
So it
mean,
was like, okay,
somebody's gonna win that division.
yeah, that's true.
The Cardinals
And
are
I mean,
rebuilding. The
yeah,
Their Pirates are inconsistent. There's no
yeah.
idea if they're gonna do anything. The Reds are
Pirates are
certainly,
the Mariners of that division. So
yeah. Brewers, of course, are there somehow, and the Reds, of course, are trying to compete. But that division's entirely winnable
yeah, oh yeah.
compared to some of the other divisions. Like that one's winnable.
But I think that this Cubs team, even with the loss of Paredes, still stacks up pretty well against other teams outside the division. So
Well, I think Paredes is kind of a bad fit for that ballpark anyway.
yeah, that's right. We were talking about that,
Yeah.
but.
All right,
Still have
next
fun in Houston.
resolution.
So.
Next resolution. Blake Snell, figure out how to do well in the early parts of the season.
Oh yeah, that would be helpful for him.
Yeah,
So
because he always seems to stink it up for like the first couple months, whether it's he's injured or whatever, and then he becomes the best pitcher in baseball. Just
yeah,
try to be
Sir
a little more
walks a lot.
consistent.
So
Yeah, Sir walks a lot, but manages to still win a Cy Young award, leading all of
yeah, that
baseball in walks.
yeah, leading all of baseball in walks. I mean, hey, didn't he also lead baseball in strikeouts though? So there's also
Yeah, yeah, the three outcomes.
that.
All
Yeah,
right, so this is kind of a twofer here. Jacob deGrom and Mike Trout, figure out how to stay healthy. It
yeah,
doesn't matter if you got to make a deal with Jobu, make a deal to stay healthy. Just figure it out somehow.
yeah. Or I mean, we need a batting coach, Mike Trout, so you could come to the Mariners because apparently Edgar moved to the front office of the Puerto Rican team for the WBC.
Oh,
He was like,
okay.
"Nope, no more Mariners. Just leave me alone. I'm gonna go to Puerto Rico." So, and who can blame him? So,
Yeah, and also Mike Trout needs to have a conversation with Artie Moreno about getting out of there.
yeah.
It needs
Well,
to
I mean, maybe he
happen.
doesn't. Maybe he doesn't want out of there, though. I mean, he stayed there this long. He might as well just end his career there. So,
I mean, they're never gonna win anything with the current configuration.
Well, he's never going
Artie
to
will
win
spend
anything
his
with his
money,
current
but
attitude either. So,
Artie will just spend his money, but he's just gonna make bad deals.
yeah,
That's just whatever reason, free agents go to the Angels to just wilt and die.
yeah, basically.
Even they look like they're great moves at the time. Look, as much as we want to crap on Anthony Rendon for how he has played the past few years, if you look at Anthony Rendon's past few years in Washington before he left, like
Oh,
that
it seemed like he was going to fix. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. It seemed
yeah,
like he was going to
he
fix their
was a
problems.
good
So,
player coming out of there, and then all of a sudden he just goes to the Angels and just dies on the vine. The
yeah,
same thing with like Albert Pujols. Yeah,
yeah,
granted, Pujols is probably older than we all thought he was, but
yeah,
he just fell off. And Josh Hamilton,
yeah.
Justin Upton, like just so many guys go there and they just fall off a cliff.
Dude, I still can't believe they didn't do anything when they had Shohei and a healthy Trout. Just blows my mind.
Well, that was part of the problem was Trout kept getting hurt.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Trout and Rendon are like trying to outdo each other on the injured list.
Right. Well, but Trout does actually have that medical whatever thing with his back that's like not sounds painful
Yeah,
when I
he's got
looked
the
it up.
back
So
issue, but he's had like calves and it was the issue last this past year was with his knee. He
yeah.
basically tore his meniscus and then like tore
Oh,
it
dude, it looked like
again.
he was ready to play the first month too, and then
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
just
trying
like,
to
eh.
be the old Mike Trout, stealing bases
Yeah,
and stuff. And it's like maybe he shouldn't do that anymore.
yeah, and it was like, well, here's another year of Mike Trout on the bench. So,
All right. Well, speaking of trades, Nolan Arenado just accept the trade already and move on.
oh yeah,
What are you
seriously,
waiting on
yeah,
at this point? Like Houston would have been a perfect fit for you.
yeah.
And
You might actually win one in Houston too. So they're the top dog in a division that's absolute crap. So,
yeah, Toronto, bleeper get off the pot. Like this is a team that I just they feel like they're trying to get all the free agents and everything. They're like the East Coast San Francisco. They're apparently in
yeah,
on like everybody, but they've done nothing. And I just wonder at what point they're just gonna throw in the towel with this current alignment and then just sell all of their assets. Like Blake, Dante, Bo Bichette. I was thinking,
yeah,
Dad, Bo Bichette was horrible last year, and he's coming up on being a free agent after the season. And
yeah.
you've got Vladdy Jr., who I get the feeling Vladdy's not going to sign there. I think he's gonna go somewhere, hit the market, and try to get his version of the Soto contract. And I just don't see Toronto giving it to him. I feel like
Yeah,
this.
and unless he has a phenomenal year this year, I don't see him getting that.
Well, I
So,
mean, he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna get Soto's level of
yeah,
money, but he's also, 20. He's gonna be 26 next year, so he'll be a
yeah.
free agent for his age 27 season, which is still really young.
Well, also perfect too, right? Don't you have your like best stats like 25 to 26 or something like that? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, this past year he had an awesome year. He hit 323 at 30 home runs, 100 RBI,
Yeah,
nearly
you
100
always
runs.
forget that he had a great year because no one ever talks about the Toronto Blue Jays. So you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's right, because he was part of the home run derby too. So
yeah.
like, oh yeah,
This
there
was
is a
his
guy up north hitting home runs up there somewhere. So
This was his best year since 2021, where he nearly won the MVP.
oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. And he made the cover of the baseball game
Yeah. Yeah,
to the show.
this was his best year, and I just get the feeling he's gonna go sign somewhere else.
Yeah.
Vladimir Guerrero was one of the guys that the Angels actually signed as a free agent that was good, but I believe that happened prior to Artie buying the team, so that
Okay.
doesn't count. He gets grandfathered in.
Yeah. Well, being grandfathered in counts a little bit. So as long as no one knows you were grandfathered in. So
Well, okay, hold on. I take that back. I take that back. Vladimir Guerrero was in 2004 he signed with the Angels. Okay, he was the one good signing that Artie made in free agency. I'll give him that. Vlad was
You know
excellent.
what they say, Griffin? Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so he got like 1 out of 10 right so far.
okay, that's so he's batting under the Mendoza line. He just needs to get it up a little bit. So,
He's like two, just needs one or two more, and then he'll be really
yeah.
good.
Well, don't you count Shohei as someone he got, right?
Well, I mean,
So, I mean, that should count for like 3 points right there. So,
I'm talking like big free agents. I'm talking like big free agents you spend money for. Like Otani is one of these weird.
I
No,
know, but
nobody thought Otani was
it
going
was
to be.
still a risk for him to take, though. So
I
I know
think
you're trying to
Otani's.
downplay it right now, but the guy still went out there and was like, "Hey, come play with Mike Trout." So
I think when you're talking about signing a guy to like international slot money, which is like what maybe $5 million a year, like that's I'm talking like big free agent
yeah,
contracts.
but when you're signing those international guys, I get that it's not like a risk for you to
Yeah,
take.
like the Dodgers signing the Sung Kim. They signed him for like 3 years, $12 million. Like anybody could have done that.
But the thing is anybody could have done it, but not anybody did. Like the Mariners should have done that. Like if there are all these cheap players out for people to take chances on, we don't like spending money. They should be out there doing that, but they're not. And so, there is obviously some sort of risk
Well,
involved.
Ohtani was a special case. He had the whole a lot of teams didn't want him to play two ways for one thing.
Yeah.
The other thing was that he also had
And Moreno let him do
torn
it.
he had a
So,
torn
credit.
UCL when he came over too. That
And
was pretty
seeing Moreno
medical.
still, so I mean, that should give him points for Otani even more, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay. So you're a little bit better than
You're
you're
at the
hitting two.
Mendoza
I'll
line,
give you
Artie.
two.
You're
I'll
at
give
the
you
Mendoza
250.
line.
I'll give you 250, but you need to be hitting
Okay.
closer to 500 on big free agents if you're gonna have a shot.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Here's a happier one. We got the Hendricks. Not related, not even spelled the same way, as we're going back to our
hmm
conversation before. Liam
yeah.
Hendricks, take the closer spot in Boston and make the All-Star game. That's just a
Oh, okay.
happy, optimistic one for me.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
And Kyle Hendricks, don't get DFA'd
Yeah, that would also be great.
because I don't I see Kyle Hendricks like maybe lasting a month and then just getting DFA'd because
Yeah.
signing for like 3 million bucks and just I get the feeling he's going to be out of the league pretty fast if he doesn't play well.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree. On that note, JP Crawford, let's like want to win baseball games, not just play with your friends. I get that there's not a whole lot for you to hope for, but have another solid year and be a leader in the locker room, not a I want to play with Ty France and pout person in the locker room.
Well, he
So
can't play with Ty France anymore because he's in Cincinnati.
exactly. So but that attitude, like lose that attitude, buddy. Love you. You're a great
Okay.
player. But
My next one is for owners who put their teams on the market. Actually, sell your teams.
oh yeah. Again, the White Sox. So
Like Twinkies.
oh yeah, the
Say you're
Twinkies.
selling your team. Sell it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Washington. You've been on the market since before you traded Juan Soto,
Yeah.
and you haven't sold your team yet. Just sell it already.
Yeah.
Artie, sell your team.
Do you
Yeah.
think that I guess, do you think Manfred needs to retire and have someone who has some good ideas for the league? Because it seems like the value has been going down in recent years.
Well, oh, the big reason for that is when you have all of the TV rights situations. That's how
Yeah.
these leagues get the high valuations that they get is they get these massive TV deals. And that's
Yeah.
Manfred's trying to correct that. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's going to be successful with it because baseball has some unique dynamics where you have the Dodgers and the Red Sox, some of those teams owning their RSNs and just having these great deals. I think the Dodgers have that massive deal with Comcast where they get
Yeah.
like $8 billion.
Yeah.
And there's
That
just
helps. So,
yeah, they got the backstop, but most of the other teams they don't. And when you
yeah.
have half the league having bankruptcy situations and you can't bundle all of the stuff together into packages. Like what the NBA did was they had three different packages they were able to bundle together for all of their games, and you can't do that with baseball when you have so many games for one thing, but you
Yeah,
have so many teams owning their own regional stuff. So you
yeah,
can't bundle all of the Dodgers games in with the Rays and the A's and all those other teams. They're all piecemeal together and they have to kind of get them all back together. Like the
yeah,
MLB makes so much money off of the postseason games.
yeah.
That's where all the money comes from is that because they were able to bundle all that stuff together.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's a
I have a suggestion. MLB TV. Create two tiers of membership. One tier, you can't watch your home games on MLB TV and it's less expensive. And the other tier is you can watch your home games because there's like blackout nonsense that you're always supposed to go to the ballpark. Why not just take what little money I have and I still get to watch the game instead of black me out and then cause me to never want to pay for your product,
well
which
that
helps no
that's
one.
that's
So,
part of the reason why I have put in this last New Year's resolution for Manfred to end the blackouts.
yeah, okay, good. Well,
But I put that
that's
in
my
there. I
resolution
put that
too.
in
So,
there. I don't think it's going to happen, but
yeah,
because of how they've set it up. And Manfred did say that he's not seeking re-election after his next 5 years, I believe.
oh,
He's
Jesus, took them for
he's
5 more
stepping down.
years. Yeah.
Well, you gotta understand they have the next set of CBA negotiations coming.
Yeah,
So he's probably gonna guide them through that and then retire, and then he's gonna basically retire after that.
yeah,
Because Manfred is already like in his mid 60s. So by the time he gets done with that, he will
yeah.
in his early 70s.
Well, dude, and you think if they end the blackout, I mean, I don't know how much money they could get, but like we're watching TV, right? So then that's ad money that they're missing out on, and then multiply that by however many times you need to, and we're talking like hundreds of millions of dollars. So if
Yeah.
you're not going to the game. So if you're going to every home game, then kudos to you. Glad you can afford it. But if you're not, there are hundreds of millions of dollars in ad money are being missed out because you're not letting us, the people who can't afford to go to every game, watch the game.
Or
So
you got people in Las Vegas who are blacked out of six different markets.
arbitrarily, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And you've got there's other markets that are blacked out. I like some park markets in the Midwest that are like
Yeah,
200 miles away are blacked out of multiple teams. It's pretty silly how they've done it.
yeah.
Manfred said that back in February last year that he would step down when his contract expires in January 2029.
Huh, okay.
So he's basically he agreed to extend it for 5 more years.
Yeah, hopefully he'll quote DiMaggio, and when he steps down, he'll just say, "I no longer have it." So
I'm sure he doesn't want to be doing all of this forever. At some point, everybody wants to sniff back and smell the roses. And I got one last one here. Oakland A's, AFs, Sacramento A's, whatever you want to call yourselves. Figure out what the heck you're going to do with Las Vegas here. Are you actually going to build something here or not? Figure
yeah,
that out. We'd like to
yeah,
know because we would rather have an expansion franchise than your cheap ass.
yeah.
That
And
is,
go back to Oakland. The fans miss you, and just tell the owner to sell the team. So
well, they can't sell their team. We literally discussed this earlier. Like he's gonna take like a 20% penalty if he sells his
yeah,
team right now. So he's not gonna be selling his team for like a
but the thing is I'm asking him to take that 20% hit for the people. You know,
yeah, okay.
he's not going to do it. I'm just,
No, he's not gonna do it. That's
it's
why
a New
I'm
Year's
not,
resolution. It doesn't have to come true. So
yeah, but you have to actually try. Like the whole point of New Year's resolution is actually try it for like a few weeks and then you give up on it.
yeah, well, he can try thinking about it.
You can think about it for like 5 seconds. Do you have any closing remarks for the show?
Yeah, so speaking of all this free agency and New Year's resolutions, Joe DiMaggio at 34 years old, February 7th, 1949, became the first player in Major League Baseball to get a $100,000 contract for the year.
Wow. You said 1949.
Yep, 1949. And honestly, he had so much pull in attendance with the Yankees that in 1952, and he, just wasn't playing very well anymore, they're going to pay him $100,000 just to show up so that people would show up to the stadium.
According to Google stuff, the Google machine, it's saying that the value of a dollar in 1949 is equivalent to $13.26 today. So
Yeah, 1.3 million, right? If I did the math
I
right.
believe so.
Yeah. So,
1.3 million
yeah.
back, and that this seems like pennies for somebody like
Yeah.
Joe DiMaggio when you're
Yeah,
looking at like
exactly.
Kyle Hendricks getting $3 million to get DFA'd in May.
But so he like even though they offered him all that money to play in 1952, he literally turned it down, saying, "I no longer have it," and then just Whereas I think if you today offered, Kyle Hendricks $30 million just to show up because everyone wanted to see him play, he wouldn't step down. He would be like, "Okay, I'll
I
just
mean, you
play
seen how
terrible
much
for a
things
year."
cost today? Jeez,
Yeah.
especially in California.
Yeah, dude. That sales tax or the just taxes in
Just
general is no
taxes.
joke. So,
Well,
yeah.
anyway, my news resolution to you guys is to try to keep doing this show for another year. So on that note, have a good week, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now.